conspiratorial, urgent? What if I told you the single greatest moment of your life has already slipped through your fingers? What if the peak of your happiness, that one shining, perfect instant of pure bliss, has already happened, but you were too busy, too distracted, staring at a mirage on the horizon, chasing a future that will never, ever arrive? You were so fixated on the next thing that you didn't even notice. Let that sink in for a second. The happiest you will ever be is already a memory you didn't bother to make. And what if I told you that everything you're grinding for right now, the promotion, the six-pack, the perfect relationship, the follower count, the fat bank account, what if all of it is a goddamn trap? What if the very things you believe are the keys to your happiness are actually the bars of your cage, meticulously designed to keep you from it? You think I'm being dramatic? You think I'm just another self-help guru peddling clickbait nonsense? I wish I were, but I learned this lesson in the crucible. I had to burn my old life to the ground just to see the truth. Before we get starting, please subscribe and like for more videos like that. The Gospel of When. 3 years ago, I wasn't just at rock bottom. I was digging. Picture this, 3 a.m. The only light in the entire world is the toxic green glow of a triple monitor setup, illuminating a scene of absolute squalor. In one hand, a lukewarm can of Mountain Dew. In the other, my phone, greasy from the pizza I ordered, my 5th takeout meal that week. My kingdom was my parents' basement. My throne was a worn-out gaming chair. The air was thick with the smell of stale energy drinks, regret, and the faint, sweet odor of decaying ambition. The blinds were permanently shut, a pathetic shield against a world I had no desire to join. I was the king of a 12x 12-foot dungeon, and my loyal subjects were the dust bunnies and empty Pringles cans. I weighed 265 pounds of pure sedentary shame. My bank account was a joke, $43.80. My dating life, non-existent. Let's just say the most intimate relationship I had was with my World of Warcraft raid team, a group of anonymous avatars I'd probably never recognize on the street. But here's the twisted part. I had a mantra, a gospel that I preached to myself every single night as I drifted off into a restless, sugar-fueled sleep. It was the great lie that so many of us tell ourselves. You probably have your own version of it. Mine went like this. Once I lose the weight, once I get a real job, and once I find a girlfriend, once I move out of this basement, then I'll finally be happy. Then my real life can begin. It's the tyranny of the word when, a poisonous 4-letter word that lets you postpone your own existence. As the great philosopher Alan Watts said, this is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now, and instead of calling it work, realize it is play. I was doing the exact opposite. My life was on pause, waiting for a cutscene that was never going to load. The first spark of rebellion. Then something snapped. Not a grand epiphany, not a movie montage moment. It was a tiny, pathetic little flicker in the darkness. It was the quiet exhaustion of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I started small, insultingly small. I made a single change. I swapped one Monster Energy for a bottle of water. That was it. The next day, I put on shoes that weren't slippers and walked. Not for an hour, not even for 20 minutes. I walked for 10 minutes, a single loop around the block. My lungs burning, my joints screaming in protest. It was pathetic, but it was something. I started applying for one job a day. Not a dream job, any job. The act of just filling out the form and hitting submit was its own terrifying victory. And a weird thing happened. These tiny, insignificant acts felt amazing. My heart would pound in my chest before I clicked apply, a surge of adrenaline and fear that made me feel more alive than any raid boss ever had. I'd get this strange flutter of genuine excitement when I'd walk a few steps further than the day before, my body aching but my spirit screaming, more! This is what no one tells you about change. They sell you the after photo, the success story. They don't tell you that the real magic, the real, raw, uncut happiness is in the mess. It's in the struggle. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." For the first time, I was daring. The real breakthrough, however, came from the one place I least expected it, my obsession with gaming. In World of Warcraft, I was a master of the grind. I would spend months, hundreds of hours on mind-numbing, repetitive quests to get a single piece of legendary gear. The whole time, I tell myself, once I get that legendary sword, then I'll really enjoy the game. Then I'll be powerful. Then I'll be respected. And what happened when I finally got it? I'd get the sword. I'd stand around in the main city Stormwind, showing it off like a peacock for a day. And then, nothing. A void, an emptiness. The thrill was gone. The fun was never ever in having the gear. The fun was in the brutal, arduous, challenging adventure of getting it. It was the late-night strategizing with my team, the near-wipes, the triumphant comeback, the shared sense of purpose. The destination was a hollow anticlimax. The journey was everything. The emptiness of the finish line. Fast forward a year and a half. I had done it. I had followed the script. I'd lost 87 pounds. I had a decent job in marketing. I'd met an incredible woman who, for some reason, found my nerdy charm endearing. I had my own apartment with windows that I actually opened. I was living the exact life, the precise future that I had dreamed of in that basement dungeon. I had arrived. I had crossed the finish line. And then it crept in, that same familiar hollow feeling, that same emptiness I felt after getting that legendary sword. I was standing in the middle of my happily ever after, and I felt a profound sense of, is this it? That's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. A revelation so powerful it buckled my knees. I was happiest not when I stepped on the scale and saw my goal weight. I was happiest during those first agonizing walks around the block, my heart pounding, my legs shaking, feeling my body come back to life. I was happiest not on my first day at my new job. I was happiest during those nerve-wracking moments of hitting send on an application, facing rejection after rejection, but still pushing forward. I was happiest not in a comfortable, stable relationship. I was happiest during those awkward first conversations, sweaty palms and all, fumbling my words, feeling that terrifying, exhilarating spark of connection. The joy wasn't in reaching the goals. The joy was in the pursuit. As Friedrich Nietzsche chillingly observed, the struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. I had been pushing my boulder up the hill, and the moment I got to the top, I realized the whole point was the pushing, not the view. The great social media lie. Here's the part that should piss you off. You know those people you follow on Instagram? The ones with the chiseled abs, the passport full of stamps, the effortlessly perfect homes, and the blessed captions? The ones who make you feel like your life is a drab, gray failure? I can make you a guarantee. Right now, at this very moment, they are either feeling that same soul-crushing emptiness that I felt, or they are already desperately, frantically chasing their next goal, their next high, their next when. Because that's the dirty secret of the human condition that nobody wants to talk about at the brunch table. There is no finish line. There is no final level. There is no point where you arrive and unlock a permanent state of happiness. It doesn't exist. It's the biggest lie we've ever been sold. As the late, great Steve Jobs said in his Stanford commencement speech, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. We are obsessed with the final picture, but life is lived in the messy, chaotic, beautiful process of connecting those dots one at a time. The mandate, a life in motion. So what's the solution? Is it to give up, to embrace nihilism, and go back to the basement? Hell no. The solution is twofold, and it's not a gentle suggestion. It's a mandate for living an authentic life. First, always, and I mean always, have something you are actively pursuing. This is non-negotiable. The size of the goal is irrelevant. It could be learning to cook just one decent meal that doesn't come from a microwave. It could be finally reading that book that's been gathering dust on your nightstand. It could be learning 3 chords on that cheap guitar in your closet. It could be learning to juggle, starting a weird podcast, or trying to talk to one new person a week. The goal itself is just a vehicle. Its true purpose is to give you a direction to push, to provide resistance, to pull you forward out of the swamp of complacency. The human soul is not designed for rest. It is designed for striving. You need a dragon to slay, so find one, even if it's a small one. But here's the bigger truth, the one that changes the game completely. Stop waiting to live. That little voice in your head, the one that whispers, I'll be happy when. It's a liar. It's a saboteur. It's the warden of your own self-imposed prison. The life of your dreams isn't waiting for you at some future milestone. It's not hiding behind a diploma, a marriage certificate, or a mortgage. It's waiting for you in the discomfort. It's in the heart-racing moment before you push yourself past your comfort zone. It's in the sweat of the workout. It's in the vulnerability of the conversation. It's in the humility of learning something new and sucking at it. You can wake up tomorrow morning and start living the life of your dreams, not because you'll suddenly have everything you want, but because you will have finally understood the profound, earth-shattering secret. The dream life is the pursuit. It's the journey. It's the growth. It's the daily, tiny, insignificant wins. And yes, it's even in the failures, the rejections, and the moments that make you want to quit, because those are the moments that forge you into someone stronger. This is it. Right now, this breath, this moment. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is your life. The question is, what the hell are you going to do with it? Now go live.